Jill, you look like you're in a haunted house or something.
I'm trying to get rid of the glare and it's not working.
Oh. Need a flashlight under your chin.
You need some of those filters, the camera filters that put you like where Steve is, you know.
Well, we've moved a lot of things in the house. We've got people that moved in, so this room's kind of last to get done. So,
and Jill, you can be in a haunted house if that makes you feel comfortable. I apologize. I did not mean to.
No, you're fine. You're good.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Time. Okay. I'll call to order this regular meeting of the Pleasant View City Council. It's January 12th, 2021. Yay for 2021. Hopefully this will be a better year. Welcome everybody that's joined us by Zoom or out on YouTube. Can everybody hear me okay? Great. All right, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance opening prayer reading or expression of thought by Councilmember Bailey.
All rise. Repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we pause at the beginning of this City Council meeting to give thanks for being members of this great community, for the freedoms we enjoy, for the opportunity we have to serve those who live here, and pray that that will bless us this night, that we'll have open minds, that we'll be able to make good decisions for the benefit of the citizens of Pleasant View. We're grateful for them and their contributions to this great community, and pray that they will watch over and protect us in this coming year. We pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Next is the declaration of conflicts of interest. Everybody have a chance to review the agenda, and are there any conflicts to declare?
I need to declare a possible conflict on the Budge estate. Nielsen Land Development is acquiring that. My brother-in-law is the VP of construction. He's not on the land acquisition side of Nielsen, but he does do some of the construction piece of Nielsen Homes.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? If not, we'll move on to comments or questions for the mayor or council. Anybody have any comments or questions for the mayor or council? Lars checking YouTube? No? All right, we'll move on to consent items. The minutes of December 22nd, 2020. You have a chance to review those. They're in your packet. Any changes or corrections? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second that motion.
Motion to approve the consent items by Councilman Bailey, second by Yuri, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. First item of business is a public hearing, discussion and possible action to consider a rezone request from C1 commercial to RE15 residential on parcel 19-207-0001 located on the southeast corner of 1325 West and Highway 89, ordinance number 2021-1. Jill, well, let's go to a public hearing first. Right.
I'll make the motion to go into public hearing.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Bailey, second by Arrington. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we're in a public hearing. Now, Jill.
Okay. So let's see. This is where it's located. First off, John Hansen, and he's on our call. He's our applicant, so he's here. but the location is the corner of 1325 West and Highway 89. Right now it's zoned commercial. As you can tell, it's C1. The general plan shows residential, low residential, so 2 to 3 units per acre, which does fit the surrounding zone, which all of them are RE15. The 2 big lots, as you can see right here, that's where our Rocky Meadows is going. So it's really just going to blend with everything. Originally, we've gotten some comments from the public. Originally, the general plan showed commercial, but in 2017, we did change that to residential, so it would have a clear line. 89 would be a clear line for the east side being residential and the west side being commercial. So some of the comments that the public gave was there was some concerns on zoning. They were worried about possibly having higher density than 3rd acre lots, but I reassured them if they wanted higher density, they would have to do a different zone change to get higher density. The most that they could have is a 3rd acre lot if the RE15 is approved. There was a concern about an agreement having this being agreed to as an RE or a commercial zone. It originally was Westview Estates Phase 3, but that never came through. So there was no agreement. So there's nothing there. That was all the comments from the public from Planning Commission. Planning Commission was recommended approval to City Council due to the general plan was updated to the residential area and it does fit. And that's all I've got.
Okay. Are there any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? If not, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved, Mayor.
Motion is
I'll second it.
motion by Gibson, second by Bailey. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, does anybody have any questions for Jill or the applicant?
Do we know, you said it was on our general plan to be rezoned to be residential RE15, but it was never, it has always been C1?
So
Or when Jacobs Mill was done, was that, it was a separate zone then, right?
So in 2003, it was requested to be rezoned to C1. And that was granted because their idea was to have commercial there back in 2003. That was phase 3 of Westwood, or not Westwood, sorry, Westview subdivision. And they got to phase 1 and then it just, phase 3 never happened. So there was no agreement signed or anything. So it was residential, then it was C1, and now they're wanting it to RE15.
And the rezone happened in 2000, well, the future land use map, the general plan was updated for the future land use map to be residential, but nothing was done at that time in 2017.
The general plan was changed in 2017. No rezones happened at that time. It was just saying in the future, this is kind of what we want our city to look like. So, I mean, that's what we have been doing with 2700, but this one, nothing changed on it. John Hanson just decided, why don't we just do a subdivision? It would fit with the area around it. It kind of flows better and it matches the general plan. So that's what he wanted to shoot for, and that's why it's here in front of you guys today.
Okay, and the recommendation from the Planning Commission was
They
recommended approval to the City Council.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Anything that the staff has that's unresolved, or is it ready for an action?
We do, as staff, we didn't have anything on this. No,
Okay.
there was no issue on our end.
Alrighty.
Here, I'll make a motion that we approve this request from C1 to RA15 for the parcel stated in item number 1 with the recommendation of the planning commission.
I'll second that
Basically,
motion.
Ordinance 2021-1.
2021-1.
And then I'll second that.
Motion by Gibson, second by Yuri. Further discussion?
I have some further discussion on it. I know that the general plan says that it should be residential on the east side and business on the west side. But I feel like we only have so many commercial lots in Pleasant View. We only have so many, and 89 and 2700 are the spots for that. And this is a neighborhood commercial zone, so it's a buffering zone. We have Woodruff Auto along there as well. For me personally, I hate to give up a piece of land for residential when we can put residential anywhere in Pleasant View. I think these corridors need to be protected, and I'd like to see it stay neighborhood commercial.
I agree with Ann, actually. I feel like, I know I've read the notes from the planning commission and the comments that were made there. I have some reservations, only we just went through a big rezone to create more commercial in the city. And this is one of those spots that, yeah, it might be a while before we have a commercial building go in there, a business buy that piece of ground. But I think it's one of those worth waiting for things. I hate to see it go to residential. I realize everything around there is going to be residential. Tonight we're going to talk about the land on the north side of that, just north of there. So I don't know, I'm a little torn, but I agree with Ann.
I, in general, would agree with what you're saying. My history would prove that this particular parcel with Rocky Meadows going on one side and residential surrounding it in every single area, it wouldn't be a bad idea to leave it neighborhood commercial, but it would make sense with the flow. And the neighbors that were commenting on YouTube at the time were in favor of having it just continue. It's 8 lots. It's not a large piece of property. And so in general, I would agree with what you're saying. This particular parcel, I think it would be more conducive for residential, just my 2 cents.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think it's a good fit for commercial or for residential. I mean, it's been an eyesore, and I know we've had this battle over every piece that we have, but I think we put our commercial eggs in the baskets that we've set aside. Worked really hard on our joint venture with Far West and 2700. I just think that's a better fit for commercial. I don't think. Personally, I don't think stuff's going to go in there. We can wait for 10 or 20 years. But we will have property tax from these things that will start fairly soon. And I know we get a very little bit from property tax, and sales tax is the best source of income. But I don't see it for this piece of property. So therefore, that's why I put the emotion in for me personally.
One other point that I failed to make is just that the traffic noise right there on 89 is going to be bad for residential. We have friends that are moving from that exact spot just because it's so noisy with traffic. So that's one other thing to consider. I don't really love those soundproof walls. I don't want Pleasant View surrounded by those. That was just one point I failed to make in the first comment. Sorry.
And there's a nice church right across the street that people can walk to. So there you go.
Go ahead.
Any further comments?
Hello?
Go ahead, John.
Can you hear me, Mayor?
Yes, I can.
Is it
Go ahead.
I'm John Hanson, 1165 West, 4000 North here in Pleasant View. I would like to comment. I sure understand what Ann's saying about the commercial. All cities need commercial up and down the Wasatch Front for a tax base. I'd like to comment on my experience with commercial in Pleasant View. The best commercial site that we've had so far is what I did there on 2700 and Highway 89 there where Ogden Clinic rests and Lady Fitness and so forth. The thing that's been disheartening for me is that those pads out in front of that busy road have not sold. We have Scooter's Coffee there that I didn't have anything to do with, that, is the only user that's come in. And the traffic along 89 is about 5,000 cars a day. And along 2700, as Steve mentioned, it's over, he didn't mention the count, but it's over 23,000 a day. And 2700 is your natural commercial area. You've got the Fleming property across the street from the Ogden Clinic that they have now decided to sell. You've rezoned everything, I believe, on 2700 for commercial. And so having worked in the commercial market a lot of years, those users look for traffic. They have to have the traffic push their business. And I've also thought about, I just live up the street from there. If that did go commercial, how would all the neighbors feel about lights 24 hours a day? Who knows what kind of use may come into that area? In my mind, that's why I came before you men and women, is that a residential fits perfectly with what's on the west side, your new subdivision that Doug Hamblin did. You've got the church and you've got this small piece. I've been trying to market it, I believe, for 4 years for Don Jones. There are no buyers for a commercial property along that street. You go from there clear to Brigham, it's bleak. The other side of the street is booming because it's a manufacturing, the electrician, whoever wants to move over there. And I really think as a resident, I feel strongly that Highway 89 ought to be the demarcation between residential and commercial use or industrial use. And the lots are so large. I mean, there aren't any lot. I think there's one lot that's 15,000. I don't have my plat. I apologize. Jill has it, but the lots go as high as 22,000 square feet. There'll be nice buildings there, nice homes. And the neighbors, they have neighbors on two sides that are residential. So my opinion, not only as a developer and a broker, but a resident, is that I'm not gonna, if I'm gonna shop, I'm gonna go on 2700 and towards North Ogden and the freeway. That's where the users will come. They're not gonna come along that road. I mean, I'm 75 now, maybe when I'm dead, they'll come. But right now they're not coming. We're not getting any calls, nothing on that property. And it's a good use for the property. So that's my speech. I'm hoping that the city council will consider that rezone. The planning commission was 100% for changing that zoning in as much as your master plan did that demarcation of Highway 89. It only makes sense to me. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, John. All right, any further comments? Not, I'll call the vote. It's a roll call vote. Arrington.
No.
Bailey.
No.
Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott.
Yes.
Yuri.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-2. Thank you. You're still muted, John. Was you saying something to us, or?
You're still muted.
I can hear you.
All right, we'll move on to the next item. Item 2 is discussion and possible action to approve Fudge Farms Phase 1 preliminary subdivision 30 lots located at approximately 1500 west between Pleasant View Drive and Highway 89. Jill, back to you.
Okay. So, here's my other papers. Budge Farm. It came before you guys a few years ago. It's located just off of Highway 89 on the east side, at about 1500 west. The current owner is the Nilsson Homes, Brian Bales. And the only difference is now there's two phases, which phase 2 is a whole nother application, so we won't worry about that right now. Let's see. So here's what it looks like. There's 30 lots. They're all 3rd-acre lots. Lot 19 right now is, where'd it go? Parcel A. I needed to fix that one. Parcel A is the detention basin, but we're working out a little bit of the details. So the goal is to connect 1500 where, if you can tell right here, sorry, that was really quick. 1500, it kind of just stops right there off of Pleasant View Drive. The goal is to have it go clear down and whoop, there we go. My mouse is a little too quick, and connect to 89. So it would be a way from Pleasant View Drive to 89. There are some little minor details that we're working out with both Jim Flint and Brian, but the main layout and everything would not change. And we, again, because the original preliminary application with Kevin Ressler has expired, so Brian had to come through again. So most of everything has not changed at all since our last one, which you guys approved. We did have some concerns from public, so I just wanted to address those with you really quick. If you can tell down here at the bottom where 1500 comes out, there is this little lane. It's a private lane. It's called Budge Lane. In order to get access onto 89, they have to get a permit through UDOT because it is a UDOT road. And UDOT does review everything, look at the safety and the accesses, and UDOT has actually approved this. When it went through Planning Commission, there was some comments of frustration with having that access right there by Budge Lane. So they recommended that Brian works with the 2 lots, as you can tell right here, to kind of give them a little bit more of an access somewhere else. So for safety reasons, he has actually reached out to them. One of them, which is Paul, which is right next to Highway 89. He's in constant communication with him and they're working that out. So, and if you can tell right here, I believe, my brain is not thinking, what road is that? About 3125. So right here, I'm pointing with my finger, you can't see it, sorry. So right here, and how it goes across, they will actually be able to get access off of 1500 and be able to go down that way. And that's where UDOT was feeling that it would be safe. They had another route as well. They're not going to close Budge Lane. They thought it was safe and they were fine with it. I've talked to Dana, and Dana said, and she said that because UDOT is fine with it and she doesn't see any issues, we aren't recommending anything different. Because again, it is a UDOT road and they're a lot harder to get approval than anywhere else. But there is one person that he hasn't been able to quite get communication back from, but we cannot necessarily hold him up because someone doesn't want to work with him, because there are other routes to the home. And again, UDOT has approved it. We don't see any issues with that. So
Jill, what is the width of the bottom of that triangle? I mean, from the, I guess, 1500 west or whatever that is, to, yeah, right there, yeah, where your thing was. What is the width of that? Is that 50 feet? I just can't see it.
I want to say
Budge Lane.
Yeah, Budge Lane.
Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it's 30 or 35. Off the top of my head, that I don't know.
So
It
that'd be
looks
the
like it's
same
about the
as,
width of the road.
So that'd be the same as any road and then a driveway or something, right? To be accessed.
Mm-hmm.
And there won't be any homes there because that'll be the detention basin. Is that detention basin big enough for that subdivision? That looks fairly small. Is that a detention or retention?
It's a detention.
Okay.
Is it only for phase 1 though?
Phase 1. We are working with Brian and Jim to work out some of the details with phase 2 to see if we can combine them, or just some things that would be a little bit more logical. But again, it would change the layout. That's why we're putting it in front of you. There are a couple of things with the comments. We request some conditions of that they fulfill the red lines, just the minor details, which is in your packet. Hopefully you guys were able to read those. Just to make sure things follow through.
Can you tell us what number 3, the eliminating the permanent bulb on 3125? Which one's 3125?
Is that the one at the
middle.
bottom?
That's the middle one.
Yeah. It kicked me out. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it back up.
It's the half cul-de-sacs on each side of the road.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the
Yeah.
west.
Is it the other one too on the, okay, so it's both of them.
That one's gonna go away because their other phase is also
Yeah.
gonna connect and continue on.
Okay.
So then they'll just be through streets. They won't be cul-de-sacs at all.
Correct.
Right.
All right, so as part of any approval or whatever, we would need to make it conditioned on the conditions that you've outlined in the staff report, correct?
Please, yes.
I have another question, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so just to reiterate what you said, UDOT has given the approval, even keeping Budge Lane open as well as the entrance to this subdivision. They've
Correct.
approved it, and really the effort that the developer went through in communicating with those property owners was more of a request, not necessarily a requirement, because if they meet our standards and our engineer standards as well as UDOT standards, then they've met the requirements.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a request given by Planning Commission, and Brian did reach out to them, and Paul was, willing and wanting to work with Brian. I know the other one, he's reached out to him multiple times, but nothing, no agreement or anything really feedback back.
Mayor, can I make just an observation?
Gotcha.
And this may or may not have anything to do with this Budge Farms or the previous thing, but are we considering sidewalks along that 89 as we're getting closer to 89? We're going to have a fairly nice sports park at some point, and we have a charter school that's vacant right now. I mean, as we build closer to 89, are we going to require any sidewalk along there or any path or anything?
UDOT won't let us, is everything I've ever heard. Every time it's come up, because they consider it a rural highway, so they won't let you put curb and gutter along it.
Did they make you put a buffer?
Can we put a path or something along there? I just, we're building all these down, and even right now, as you go into any of those subdivisions, there's really no access to get from one subdivision to the other, just walking through weeds. I guess as you go up in the subdivisions, those are connecting, but I don't know. And that may or may not be a discussion for today, but I just think something.
Might be a discussion that we would have with UDOT.
Yeah.
Do they require a buffer right now, though? I mean, some sort of buffer, a setback for when you can start the construction, to have that division between Highway 89 and the start of the subdivision, you know, the start of the first home?
Well, just their right of way, I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, for example, and again, we're getting off topic, and Mayor, I apologize, but on Pleasant View Drive, you know, years ago, we put a path in along the canal, which makes a wonderful way to get along there. And I just think something along that 89, you know, to go to the church, to go to anything, that we should consider a path system or something along there. And I agree with you. UDOT would probably be the one we should talk to, but I think we need to think about that.
Yeah.
Having something, we don't want the kids or people walking along, you know, that 6 inches between the white line and the gravel, you know, just, anyway, I think that needs to be a discussion.
In my mind, I can see that one along Legacy, right?
Right.
Like the Legacy Highway has one.
Right.
I'm picturing it in mind. That's a good suggestion, Steve.
So even along, I don't know how far the setback is necessarily, but as these developers are coming, I would like to have something, you know, 3 foot, and I see just a path, maybe not curb and gutter. You know, we don't want to interrupt the water flow that drains off the road. That's something, you know, that can be very expensive, but something going along the road. So developers, if you're listening, I'd like to have something along those roads, or along between the subdivision and 89, as a way for kids or adults or anybody to get along. And I think if we build that system all the way over to Pleasant View Drive, you know,
Kind of like 2700, how they have a path and you know, they have sidewalk all the way to North Ogden and.
Well, they have a sidewalk, but I don't think we're going to. That's too expensive. But if we have something like our Pleasant View Drive path that's just offset a little bit, that we can maintain, I think that'd be a good thing. Anyway, yeah, that's way off topic. That has nothing to do with approval of this or disapproval of Budge Farms Phase 1. But I think I'd like to think about that anyway.
There, I've got a comment. I agree with Steve, and I don't think we should go any further without getting some information on it, because I mean, basically, we're saying it's a rural highway, but it's not no longer a rural highway. It's residential all along there, and there's no better time to address that than now. I mean, Highway 89 has sidewalks further south all the way along it, so I don't think we want a path or a sidewalk across the street if it's commercial. Maybe that would be there as well, but I think it would be better on the residential side, and I don't think we should go forward without addressing that personally.
I'm not sure that that's germane to this
particular item.
Anything would be on the right of way, not, they would not be establishing that.
Right.
There's nothing in our ordinance or anything that.
Because I don't know that you could even do that without UDOT's permission.
But I think what we want to do, we don't want to drop this either. And I'll ask Amy to make a note. We can talk tomorrow in DRC with the engineer and Tyson and see what we need to do to get with UDOT and see, because some sort of something all the way along there would really.
What is the frontage of this subdivision, Phase 1 and Phase 2? I mean, what is the? Because it will come right up to 89. So Phase 2, what would that be?
Phase 1 comes up to 89, I believe, and then Phase 2
above it.
is above.
Brian?
The fences.
Get Jill back on.
Yeah.
Well,
Pull your map back up.
89 or where the right of way starts. So
Jill,
then.
will you pull your map back up?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Tyson.
Could we ask
let's just.
Brian, the developer, how far the setback is?
Just a minute. I just have a quick question. So where Phase 2 starts and Phase 1 ends right there at that little half bulb.
Yep. Phase
2 goes back in there into a larger,
right here.
yeah. It
So
goes
here's
back.
where Phase
That's
2 is.
And doesn't it just continue? Okay, it ties into that road. All right, never mind.
Yep.
Never
Yeah.
mind. That answered my question.
There won't be any houses facing 89, but the backyards will be abutting right up to it.
How far
You know,
is the setback off of Highway 89?
They're
64.
What I don't want to do is end up with one
60.
chunk of sidewalk that goes absolutely nowhere on both sides. I think that creates a nightmare. So I think we need a big plan. We need a bigger picture here and working with UDOT. There has been a suggestion, and this is what I had in mind too, was looking at possibility of safe routes to school program. Somebody also commented on YouTube with that same idea. Maybe that's what I would, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Well, and Mayor, and I apologize, but I just think, that this is just a little piece. We just put another little piece, in with the other, the Jones property. But anyway, I would definitely like to keep this going, and the budgets are going to be impacted, but talk to UDOT and just see what there is. Maybe we can do a ramp grant for a continuation from Pleasant View Drive over to 2700. We could along the Pepsi plant and all those things. That would be a really nice path to continue going all the way down.
Be nice to just loop it down. And
I agree. I like Ann's suggestion, like, what do you call it? Legacy Highway. I like that.
No, you don't need to apologize. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea, and something we need to.
Anyway,
we'll add it to the.
Off topic, I apologize.
We'll just add.
Are we to make a motion?
Mayor, I have still another question there. Is there, do we really want to have access to Highway 89 in this subdivision, and is it feasible for it to be put in without access to Highway 89? I know they've approved it, but
I think we definitely want it personally.
It originally had on the agreement, it has a light, correct, Tyson? There's a light that was planned to go right there on 89.
That's part of the roads master plan.
Yeah.
Where are the lights along Highway 89? Is that the only one between there and 2700 that's planned, or is it?
Correct. Let me pull it up and double check, but I'm 99.
I'd hate to see it. Well, the fire department would hate to see it not connect. I'd hate to see all those lots going up to Pleasant View Drive.
Right.
I'd hate to see it not connect.
And we are limited on connections on 89. So if we don't utilize it at a good spot right there, all those parcels really to the north on the east side of 89 is going to have a really hard time getting in or out or anywhere.
Is there 1500 west coming down? That would be a great thing to exit out.
Is there any other entrances to 89 north of there to Pleasant View Drive, or no?
To the east?
Yeah, there
to
is.
The east.
There is one by the church.
Come on, there we go. I've got the master road.
Isn't there one by the church, Mayor? Just down the street? There is one down the street by the church.
25. The one we were just at, the church.
Yeah, there's one right there.
So, Jill, you said that UDOT has approved that access, yes?
Correct. They have.
Even though it's right next to Budge Lane, and they're okay with that?
Correct.
Okay.
And I guess that was.
Entrance.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the Budge Farms Phase 1 preliminary subdivision.
With
the exceptions, right?
The conditions?
Yes, yep, as recommended by staff. So includes their notes.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Bailey, second by Yuri. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you. Move on to item 3, approve the addition of Amy C. Mabey, City Administrator, as a check signer on America First Credit Union account. And I apologize to Amy. I kind of introduced her last time. She was on here for a contract and really wasn't an official employee of the city at the time. So this is kind of her first official council meeting. So hopefully everybody get a chance to stop in once in a while to say hello and not pester her. Just say hello, not to pester her.
No one is pestering me so
I am
hard.
keeping her busy enough trying to get everything up to speed with her right now. So that's, but yeah, we're gonna go on some field trips, I call them. That's what I used to call them with Bill's field trips in the next day or so to get her out and about and kind of, I know it helps me to visually see things, these projects and all these things we're talking about. It's always helpful to get out, get it in your brain visually. She's not from Pleasant View, and I am from Pleasant View, and I still need to get out. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Anyway, approve the addition of Amy Sue Maybe, City Administrator, as a check signer on American First Credit Union account. Laurie.
Self-explanatory. We did it with the mayor. We're just going to add Amy so she can sign checks. It takes 2 people. So if somebody's out, she can sign.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve Amy Sue Maybe as a check signer at America First on our account.
A second.
Second.
Okay, motion by Arrington, second by Gibson, third by Bailey.
I'm just curious, is she going to sign a Amy Sue maybe or just Amy maybe? I'm just curious about that.
So it goes both ways. So you can call me Amy Sue or Amy. In Ogden, we had a council member named Amy, and so it was easier to call me Amy Sue. So I don't know. Either way.
Sounds good.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, discussion and possible action to amend Chapter 2.06 City Administrator and Chapter 2.20 Licensing Department by deleting the bond requirement. Ordinance 2021-2. Laurie.
Yes, we found that we needed to amend the ordinances when we did Amy's contract. I ran this ordinance past our city attorney. He's approved it. Basically, with the trust, we have prime coverage, and it's also up to $5 million of coverage. Before we would get bonds, and then we would have like a $300,000 bond. It would cost us $900. So this way it's cheaper and we have more coverage. So it's just to delete these out of our ordinances because we already have the coverage.
Yeah, a year or possibly 2 ago now, the legislature changed the law that allows it to fall under that kind of umbrella instead of each individual bond. So that was a good thing. Because they're like, you're kind of double covering yourself and paying for this additional coverage. So if we just eliminate that, we save a little bit of money. Any further questions? Or ordinance 2021-2.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2021-2 as outlined.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Bailey, second by Yuri. Any further discussion? Roll call. Arrington.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Gibson.
Yes.
Marriott.
Yes.
Yuri.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. I don't believe we need a closed meeting, do we? I'm not aware of one. Okay. We don't need item 6 or 7. Brings us to other business. Let's start with the chief. Chief.
Good evening. The police department, we a couple months ago secured a grant to purchase a radar trailer to be mobile around the city. But the bells and whistles on that came to a little more than we anticipated. So we've resubmitted the grant and they are considering now paying for the whole thing instead of just part of it. The price we got on it was $5,800. Our grant came in at $4,500. But the committee right now is looking at it with the possibility of funding the whole thing. So we're hoping they do. So there'll be more to come on that and we'll let you know. Also, we secured another grant from Department of Public Safety for body cameras and car cameras. They've awarded us $2,745 for the purchase of body cameras for the officers and car cameras for the cars. So we're going to keep a supply of those on hand. The old car cameras were very expensive, but we're finding now we can get smaller ones that look as good and do the same thing for considerably cheaper. So we should be able, all the officers are equipped with body cams but we're gonna have 4 or 5 extra because they do get damaged and scuffles and different things. We have damaged and ruined several of them. The good part is the body cams on the officers are only about $400 each. I say only, but if you're replacing them fairly often because of damage, that's not that overly expensive to replace. So we're gonna keep some extras on hand and then make sure all the cars are equipped with car cameras, because we're in a day and age now where everything's got to be on camera, everything on video. So we're making sure everybody's equipped with those. Also in September, there's a medical call where an individual got in a white barn and suffered a pulmonary embolism. And the officers responded, got there just before medical, and one of our detectives and Sergeant Clark administered CPR. When medical got there, they continued the CPR. As a result, from medical and the officers, this individual's life was saved. And this individual by the name of Art Samuelson, maybe you know him, maybe you don't, had a white barn. He's an elderly gentleman, but he just got married last week. And he has Sergeant Clark to be the best man at his wedding, contributing
awesome.
to his life.
That's awesome.
So those are the kind of stories I love to share. So Sergeant Clark put on his white fancy uniform and stood in as witness, the best man at his wedding. And give credit to him, Detective Ashelman, and of course our medical crew who did an outstanding job in saving his life. Our new officer, Alexis Goodpasture, started this last week. We had her in 1 week of training, and she went on her own this week, and I think she could be an outstanding officer. She's got 3 years with Ogden City Police. Well, Sunday morning was her first day on her own, and right at 6 o'clock when she came on, she had a family fight at the station. Individual busted windows out of his girlfriend's condo. And she got there along with the other officer that was on and arrested him. And while they were doing that, they saw an individual pushing the motorcycle down the street. He saw the officers and turned it around, pushing it the other way. So one of them hung on to this guy who was under arrest. Everyone went to check on that guy. He fled on foot. Just so happened he just stole a motorcycle and pushed it down the street into 2 police officers. They had a foot chase 2 or 3 blocks through the station at 6 o'clock in the morning. He was arrested. So Lexus, on her starting morning on her own, we had 2 arrests in 30 minutes.
I thought she was going to tell us she wants to go back to Ogden.
Yeah, I think she came to Pleasant View because she didn't want to do that in Ogden. And now she's saying, geez, this isn't any different than Ogden. I said, no, it will be, trust me. Anyway.
I met her the other day when I was out walking. She was out talking to Corey and they invited me over and I was really impressed with her. She seems really awesome.
Yeah, very, very cordial. Her stepfather was a Weaver County deputy and a part-time officer for us at one time. So it's in the blood. I think she'll do well. And so far, we're very pleased. For December, officers responded to 602 calls for service. There were 26 citations issued. That's not a lot, but then again, it is Christmas, so we're letting them skate with that. 3 arrests. And in 2020, officers responded to 9,128 cases, which is up about 1,000 over 2019. So we're keeping busy. We got a good crew. The additional officer helps us with manpower. And luckily, Sunday morning, we had 2 officers on. That's really unusual, but you can't hang on to one guy and chase another. So it worked out really well.
Thank you. We usually go to the city administrator now, but we're going to skip her and come to her last. Okay. Laurie.
I'm going to be sending you out an email with your training for this year. That's starting again, so just look forward to email.
All righty. Did you send the
Okay.
and
Just a couple things tonight. One, I wanted to address the email we got from Roger Timmerman about the Utopia fiber. He's requesting, I think he requested a while back, but we were changing city administrators at the time. I'm open to listening to what he has to say. I don't know if everybody wants to get together all together or if you just want me to take it on or whatever, but I think we should listen to what he has. So
I'm going to talk to you offline about that, Ann, if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I have an idea. I'm going to run it past you, but
Okay,
so
yeah, that sounds
we
good.
can do it next Tuesday if you want me to meet or.
Sure, let's plan on that. Other thing is just, I want you to know I got my COVID shots. I got my shots, you guys. I'm like I don't have rabies. I don't have, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the nation's going to open back up. We can meet again in person here soon, and I'm hoping it'll help us get back together. So.
Have the horns started to come out of your head yet, Ann?
I'm starting to speak Russian a little bit. I don't know, comrade.
I'm getting mine tomorrow, so.
Yeah.
Mine's tomorrow too.
Good. Let's get together soon.
Right.
The rest of us have had it, so we might as well meet together, right?
Right.
Kevin's next.
Thank you.
I don't really have anything of importance.
Yeah, we need to get back in our seats so I can, as I go around in my mind, it's starting to lose where it's been where, and I've tried to do it in order all this time.
Tic-tac-toe, Mayor.
All right, Sarah.
Just starting to talk with Allison again, getting all of our event dates lined up, for our food trucks and all those things. Even started to talk about Founders Day, Steve, getting excited and, confirming some of those things. And also talked to Amy a little bit about resuming our EDC Utah and economic development, joint meetings. And she took down some notes as ready and willing and to start reaching out to Chris Roybal and Holland Eubanks again so we can start, continuing where we left off. So other than that, I'm excited to have Amy here. I think we all are, and just grateful that we're moving forward.
Dave?
Yeah, just welcome to Amy again. Appreciate that she's here and we can get going. I did have a couple of questions. One, I don't know when we'll be on the agenda again for Skyline Road update, but I'd like that to be put on the agenda sometime soon for us to discuss where we are. We've been probably 6 weeks or more since we heard anything about that, and I don't know what's going on there. The other question I had, I know we talked a little bit about, I'm not sure I brought it up with you guys, but we've got those mulch piles that are there, and we're about probably 2 months or less away from wanting to let people use it. But I was thinking it's kind of big mulch for us, for what the residents of Pleasant View are going to want. I haven't really looked at it extremely close, but I don't know, is there a plan for us to reduce it?
I was going to say, let me let Tyson address the mulch, and then I'll have Amy address the sky.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Those are the only issues I had that we haven't talked about, so good.
You get your responses right now.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So I got contacted from a mulch, commercial mulch supplier, and he wants all of it. So we met, went on site, talked about sort of some of the logistics of him picking it up and how they would work that out. And I haven't had anybody come wanting the rocks moved. So, it wasn't like it's disappearing like you're saying. So we're working out, and I sent him that email this week. So just waiting to hear back. He was looking into some of the other cities and to make it more fiscally viable for him as they come down to deliver. Basically, he's wanting to pick it up and take it back to his mulch farm to start processing it, or because it's got to age quite a while and they re-chip it. So that was an exciting phone call. So That's where you're going, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I agree with Dave. We went and looked at it, and it's like, I'm not sure when our residents really look at it, if they're gonna want money. I mean, there might be some usage, but not to the amount we got down there. So we're looking for somebody to haul it all away, basically. Hopefully this guy will do that. Won't cost us anything. We're gonna trade product basically for him hauling it. So I didn't want to pay to have it hauled away. I didn't want to burn it. So anyway, that's kind of where we're exploring on that one.
Okay.
Amy, you want to address the skyline?
I'm happy to. So we actually had a really great productive meeting today on Skyline. There's a lot of things that are kind of falling into place at this point. There will be a bid meeting this Thursday, or is it next Thursday? Sorry, I took my calendar.
It's the 14th.
Okay, the 14th. It is this Thursday. I'm not crazy. So, and going to be opening that up to look at possible people that can move the project forward. And I sent an email earlier too with just some additional information on some things that are moving forward, but there's some progress that's happening, and we're going to continue to update the council as things continue to progress. And it's kind of exciting to see the movement. And I don't feel at all responsible for it. I just was lucky to come to a meeting right after I got here, and things are moving.
Yeah, so Amy has sent you an email to your Pleasant View account, I'm sure. So if you'll check that, it's a sensitive email, so I didn't want to talk about it, outside of closed meeting. And so, and I didn't really feel like it could go into a closed meeting. So, and it's just kind of a brief progress report of what we did today. So,
and there's a lot
I think
more.
you'll find it good.
As long as we're moving forward and,
Yes.
Faster than slower, awesome.
Yes, this is a great step forward, actually. So.
Yeah, I think it was a really good meeting because we were given some milestones, and so we do have that bid meeting this Thursday, and then we are anticipating some more preliminary kind of write-ups and information the following Friday as soon as that, and then hoping to get something kind of in the queue to get before the I've got to look at my calendar again to get this acronym correct, the DRC, and then the Planning Commission, and then you all. And so everything is really moving forward at this point, I would say.
So
Awesome.
One of the things, this is the grading package she's talking about. We hope to have that on our next agenda for the City Council to award that. So it'll be open this Thursday, and then next week we have a meeting planned to review it, go over it, and so we can make a recommendation to the council on the 26th for the grading package.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry, I think I missed some of those.
I just want to make sure they knew exactly what that was. That answer your questions, Dave, or help a little bit? Okay.
It's good.
Dyson, do you have anything? Move on to you.
Good. The shop's wrapping up. I think Steve got to go and peek his head in. We just got to seal it, and they got to tighten a few bolts, and then they have some odds and ends. But the floor sealer's the main deal, and hopefully we'll wrap that up this week and move in some stuff if they'll give us our building occupancy. Hopefully we don't get any trouble from the city. So,
Hey, Tyson, we might know a guy or a girl.
right? If we can pull some strings, we can get away with a couple of those things in there. But
Is there a ribbon cutting ceremony? Can we show up to that, or what's?
oh no, we just sort of sneak in and.
But yeah, if you'd like to see the building, come drop down and
Yeah.
take a look
Yeah,
at it.
please.
Turned out
pretty
good.
exciting.
It was a good project. I think it was great to have some council members involved, and the way we did it with the design build type thing, I think it worked out really well. They really changed over the course of that design build of how it looked from the get-go to what the finished product was. So, most of it was done before construction, obviously, but that whole thing was very interesting. Suggestions that the developer and contractor was able to make for improvements. And yeah, that would be a good idea. So, good project.
Yeah,
It was a good project.
my favorite things I think came from Brent Bailey. So I couldn't be happier. He got rid of the original mezzanine and came up with that more of an extension that looks like just a single unit. So
yeah,
pretty excited. So that's probably one of the bigger. Taj, our newest hire, got his CDL today, passed that test. So we got one more snowplow driver. If anybody wants to come up for a ride, Sarah joined us, I think, on the second to last storm.
Well,
Dang it, make it snow.
Yeah.
Make it snow.
The best of the what we've had so far, but water-wise, obviously still hoping for more, but for plowing, it's been kind of nice.
If we don't get some, we'll have to use those plows to plow dust in the summertime.
Yes.
Where our street sweeper at.
You'll probably notice Barker Pond here at the park filling up sort of prematurely. We're trying to look for all the breaches. I don't know if any of you recall that, but once we met to sort of get that project started, the breach I was called out on was different than the one Jeff was called out on. We all thought we were talking about the same one. So after, I guess, coming to that conclusion, it's just a test run to basically, in a controlled environment, make sure we're getting all of them and you're not coming back to do it again. So, because that can get pretty substantial project depending on where all those run, and shooting that, talking to Dana, either the bentonite wall, basically you suck a trench all down your rim and fill it with bentonite to give you that liner, so to seal those breaches up, or they follow the tree roots out of your banks. So the one I went out on was probably a garden hose worth, shooting 6 inches when it was in that fuller state, 3 years ago when we had the snow and rain all in the spring. So it's not like it's just seeping out of there. So it'll be a good.
I wonder why you were sitting there on a stool with your thumb in the diagram.
Yeah. when you need it full. Yeah. And then, so yes, if anybody asks, that's why that's going to be filling up, and it's kind of going slower than we were hoping, just because there's not a ton running down, but you want to do it in that scenario so we can drain it and not have any flooding, and kind of do it how we want. So hopefully it won't take too long though. Using the mini, it's on, I think it's 3rd water main break for the winter main break season. Storm drains dug out our new, well, not new, but the detention pond that was the issue up on 4400. It had overgrown. It was one of those that's in that private, it's our storm drain, but it's their property. So it had basically turned into a forest, and they've now working on digging out about 4 feet of sediment out of the drain and the control structure to have that all working again. And then if we can get the permit, they'll head out to the railroad tracks and fix the drainage around where the Rocky Meadows project outfalls next to the tracks. And so it's nice to see it working and getting that use out of it, and everybody's loving it. Loader comes in February 8th, they said it ships, so that's about it.
Steve, I skipped you. I went from around the table to along this Zoom
That's okay.
path here. So
Amy, just make note of that. He skips me all the time. I don't know. I guess I should take that as just shut up. But Sarah definitely. This was on my thing. we really need to get the Founders Day committee going. I'd like to have it the first week of February, is starting that if we can. I have every intention of having a full implement of Founders Day activities going. I talked to Allison, and I don't know, she's had a little bit of a mishap, and so she's not quite ready to start yet, but with her side. But I would really like to start scheduling that 1st of February if you're okay with that, Mayor. So
yeah, I was gonna discuss kicking that off, so I'm glad you.
So
have you
anyway,
gonna talk to Heather?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
mean, I guess it
talking to
depends
Heather
on
or whatever.
Yeah. She has a list of the participants and but anyway, we really need to kind of get going on that, because June will come very quickly.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I think that, we as a community, as a nation, we need to get back to normal, and hopefully we can. Anne's got her shot, so let the world rejoice and go for it. So,
aren't most
the other thing, and I don't know if this.
Sorry.
Steve, what's
Sorry, I keep interrupting. I'll wait, Steve. Sorry.
Steve, do you have the date on that Founders Day?
26th. Isn't it the 26th, the third Saturday?
Oh, is it
Fourth?
the third?
The fourth
It's the
Saturday.
fourth Saturday. June
Fourth
26th.
Saturday. The 26th, yeah.
Yeah, June 26th.
One thing, and I don't know if this is bragging or just stupid, but I was named the chairman of the board for the mosquito abatement yesterday. So
congratulations, Steve. That's awesome.
Kind of nice to be recognized with that. So anyway, we'll have a little more say to the mosquitoes that get killed in Pleasant View, I guess. So
perfect.
I can say that really sucks, but
Now we have a good
At least it
board.
doesn't bite. Yay.
We have a representative from pretty much every city in Weber County, major city, and it's an honor to be thought of in that regard. So anyway, just to let you know, FYI. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Jill, did you have anything?
I don't, but thank you.
All right. Amy.
I don't really have anything else. I have the Skyline Drive, but Dave got me in early and just excited.
Sorry.
Hey, no, don't be sorry at all. I'm glad I could answer one of your questions, and really impressed with the staff. I think we've had a really good couple of days so far, and yeah, if you need anything, let me know. I've been making really good notes, and we've got our staff meeting tomorrow, so I'll be bringing some of this up. So thank you so much.
I don't know if you followed all that or if you've been informed, but our community celebration is called Founders Day. It's on the 4th Saturday of June. So that's what we were talking about, Founders Day.
So I met one of your planning commissioners at a conference about a year and a half ago, and I heard all about Founders Day. So I was very impressed at that point. So I'm really excited to actually get to participate.
You're gonna love it.
It's a good day. So also, yeah, my stuff was all kind of covered as we went along through the meeting. So again, welcome to Amy, and like she mentioned, we're going to have first staff meeting tomorrow and DRC, and really get her brought up to speed on a whole bunch of stuff and all the projects the city's involved in, plus what's going on in the development world. And then, like I mentioned before, some field trips to go see all those projects. So she was able to really hit the ground running, I think, and it's going to be a great addition to our city.
Hey, Mayor, how many bids did we get on that gravel processing? That was it just one or two?
It doesn't close till
probably that day.
I think that day.
I'm sorry, I thought it had already closed. I thought you were going to open the bids
that day. Yeah. So.
Okay. That'll be an exciting time.
If nothing else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait, can I ask a quick question to Anne? Is that okay?
A quick question to Anne? Sure.
Well, just what So in relation to Founder's Day, is it anticipated that most people will receive the vaccine by then? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So
there's a strong rollout coming here, in the next couple of weeks. So I think we'll be pretty good by then.
So we're good. Yeah, Steve, I'm with you. Yeah, let's just plan the whole thing.
Plan it, make it happen.
Just want to make sure we have one of those really big fireworks shows again. That was awesome.
Yes, we're never going back from the 10, dang it. That's awesome.
All right, thank you. I have a motion to adjourn. So moved.
So moved. A second.
Okay, motion by Bailey, second by Marriott. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you, everybody.
Guys, good
Have a
night.
great night, guys.
Good
See
night,
ya.
thank you all.